Topic today is you're next in line for a miracle. You're next in line for a miracle. I don't know about you, but I need a miracle every day. Y'all know how black people, we just don't know how to get in line right. When you go to the white neighborhoods, they're waiting for the bus and they're all in line. And you wonder where they going, they're all in line. Not like what we do, we all just bunch up next to each other and trying to see who could go first. How many know that sometimes you can't be waiting for somebody else? You got to get yours. I want to talk to you. One of the things that we ask ourselves is, how can I exercise my faith during those hard times, during the dry seasons of our lives, when nothing seems to go right, when the money is short? They say your money start acting funny, and your strength and your change start acting strange. How do I exercise my faith in those times when the body is acting up, when close relationships become distant? Many would even dare to say that it would take a miracle for their lives to turn around, for them to get out of debt, for their marriages to survive, for their businesses to succeed, for their children to cry holy unto the Lord, for them to forgive somebody who hurt them, for them to forgive themselves, to land their dream job. And sometimes some people need a miracle just to smile again, to climb out of the hole that they dug themselves into, or the ditch or trap that somebody else tried to put them into. I want to make one thing perfectly clear, and that is that God is in the miracle working business. God is not a genie. Can't snap our fingers and get what we want, and that's what some of us think we can do with God. Snap my finger and here it comes. But that's not the way God works. Our miracle has everything to do with our faith and obedience. Amen. Maybe you're looking for a financial, a physical, or relational miracle in your life. Miracles are not only possible, but they're more common than we think. God cares for us and wants to work in our lives. The hard part is remembering this when we come up to the crossroads in our lives and must choose how to respond. Whether we're facing a painful loss or we have two good options to choose from. The only way to experience the miraculous in our lives is to go God's direction. I want to share or bring to your remembrance the story of Elisha and a widow. A woman who struck oil right in her house. Y'all know that the people that got the oil, that controls the oil, is the folks with the money, right? Amen. Do y'all know that? It doesn't matter if we have any or not. Do you know that those that got the oil is the one with the money? Y'all can say amen. Amen, amen. And it begins with a dire situation. Miracle begins with a dire situation and a plea for help. So I want to go to 2 Kings. I know that the program has the 8th verse. I'm going to go to the 1st verse. And it's going to be from verses 1 through 7. 2 Kings, the 4th chapter, verses 1 through 7. And when you have it, say amen. Thank the Lord. The first verse reads, "Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elisha, saying, Thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen." Here we have a widow who came to Elijah with a need. So much so that she cried out. This just wasn't any woman. She was the wife of a devout prophet who feared the Lord. And now her husband is dead. Her provider is dead. Her breadwinner is dead. Her confidant is dead. Her partner is dead. The one who she looked to for survival and for security is dead. It appears to me that she has a problem. We know Pastor Herb talked about problems last week. But this is not a problem that's unfamiliar to many of the women in our society, and even in this church for that matter. This has affected whether the one that we thought that we would be able to depend on and provide for some of us is dead, whether it's physical or whether it be spiritually. And this has affected many women both mentally and emotionally, leaving us to wonder, where do we go from here? How do we start over? What kind of changes must be made in our lives? How do I regroup? How do I get my bearings together? What do I do now? And right in the middle of this woman dealing with the death of her husband, here comes the creditors. It's like they say, when it rains, it pours. And so now she faces an impossible situation. She has lost her husband, and because of this, she's in a financial bind. And now the creditors are trying to claim and threaten to take away her most prized and precious possession, her children. One thing I know is that when there's maybe some mothers who might be very passive, but let me tell you something, when you mess with their children, something rises up. Do I have any mothers here? Amen. An eyebrow will rise. A voice will rise. They will even rise when you start messing with their children. So this mother is in a very uncomfortable place, because now they want to take my boys. Can you just imagine that? If she doesn't pay up. So according to the law, that's why we thank God we're under grace, the creditors had every right to come and take her boys so that they can work to pay off this debt. Point number one. If you want God to work in your life, you have to first admit that you need Him. There's so many people, do you believe it or not, that will not even confess and acknowledge that they need the Lord. But if we want a miracle in our life, the first thing we've got to do is recognize that we need the Lord. Miracles never take place until we acknowledge that the situation is impossible without God. Many people would rather hide the problem rather than admit that they have one. And if we're able to admit that we have one, we don't want to admit that we can't fix it. Because when we get our own problem, we want to fix it. And then I've known people that have been messing around with their problem for years. And when you talk to them, they tell you, I'm working on it. I know it's a problem. I'm getting there. I'm getting closer. I'm working on it. But how many know that some of these problems we have, we can't fix it? This thing is just right for God. And we got to put it in the right place and put it in the right hand, because He knows just what to do with it. Sometimes we pretend the problem don't even exist while we try to manage them on our own. And then sometimes we don't even try to manage it. All we're comfortable with doing is complaining about the problem. Every time we talk to the people, some people don't even want to talk to you on the phone, because all they hear is about the problem, about the problem, about the problem. Never any solutions. But our God is a God of solutions. God will not work in our lives until we acknowledge that His intervention is essential, and no other road can satisfy what we need to be done. can satisfy the desired destination. I encourage you to invite him into your life, invite him into your situations. Blessed is the mother who knows where to go when her family is in need. Let's see how Elijah responds.